don't always want a monthly subscription. I really like monthly. It works for being a deal lawyer and fractional GC, but it doesn't always work for every sort of practice area. But what's worked really well for the guests on my podcast in those areas, in those practice areas, are annual subscriptions. Because think about it. Even if you're billing time or you're doing a fixed fee to do the criminal and estate planning stuff versus family law, I know lawyers who use subscription and fixed fee for that. But let's say you're still billing hours for that. You're just doing just fixed fee for the other things. When the case is more or less concluded in court, you've got maintenance stuff going on, right? Okay, they have an estate plan done. Well, some consumers might think, okay, I have an estate plan. I'm done for the rest of my life. Well, you, the lawyer, if you're doing your job, you're telling them this is not game over. Like, things change in your life. You might buy or sell your house. You might acquire more things. You might have another kid, grandkids. You're going to want to amend that. Well, an annual subscription that has an annual check-in, even just one check-in for a lower price, versus a higher annual subscription that has two check-ins, versus a really high annual subscription that has four or monthly, quarterly or monthly check-ins with them, right? Depending on that level of client. So you got an annual subscription there. Same thing is true, and this might be monthly. You might be able to do monthly or quarterly with this too for family law. Okay, you've got that divorce decree. You've got that marital settlement agreement. You got to comply, right? You might have questions, for your lawyer. They don't want to keep doing the billable hours then if you were doing that. And the reason I say it's okay to maybe do the billable hours and have this annual subscription maintenance plan, don't call it that, be creative with your naming, is because once you start getting that taste of that recurring revenue, you're going to want to figure out how could I do this for the actual litigation in family law, right? So if you could just switch over, that'd be great. But at a minimum, because now what's going to happen is they're still your lawyer. So about, if you're into marketing and CRMs and touch points and staying top of mind, when they're paying you every month or you have at least one annual check-in with them, you could not do all the CRM marketing stuff and you're still top of mind because you're their lawyer and they're paying you and they're maximizing their subscriber benefits, right? And same thing is true with immigration, right? There's a lot of things that happen post, or there's just like a waiting period where it's like a fixed fee and then it could just be monthly for like to do check-ins instead of doing hourly, right? And I'm actually have a talk I think later this week with an immigration lawyers association. I'm going to learn more from them. So the timing didn't work out for me to have more information for your listeners in immigration, but I'm still learning more about the immigration practice space that I don't have great answers other than like look at an annual subscription or a monthly subscription when you get into that waiting period, because they're still going to have questions, you're still going to have check-ins, things might happen, and whether or not you discount your fixed fees, like even for example, I know we're getting close on time here, so wrap me up if we have to, but like if you charge $3,500 for that estate plan, well, you might even be able to do some creative pricing where you say, if you sign up for our annual subscription, where you get 1 month, one annual check-in, it's 365 days approximately from when we finalize your estate plan, that costs $350. But you also get a 10% discount on other fixed fee work that we have. So it's going to cost you $3,500 anyway, but you're also going to be subscribed to our annual subscription as part of it. So see how many of them subscribe and stay on there, because they might not need changes in the first year, or they might. And then they do the changes at the 10% discounted flat fee rate, and then they stay subscribed for another year. So so yes, you're giving up that $350 on the first annual subscription, but the lifetime revenue from that client, and all the other work that they're going to bring to you because they're actually checking in with you once a year, you're going to make far more than what you give up in that first year, right? And so that's my recommendation to folks.
Yeah, and like let's just take that last example, right? Like if you think about after those 12 months are over, right? What's the likelihood of somebody continuing to pay 300 something dollars a month knowing that they're just
A
basically
year,
getting an annual check-in?
a year, not a month, a year, 350 a year.
350 a year. Okay,
Because it's
so
just
that
one check-in. You're just having a one meeting. So if your billable rate's $350 an hour, not that it should be, I don't think you should think about that. But like you're just having one hour meeting with them a year from now, right? Like that's all that 350 gets you.
yeah, so you can think about, and I do this on the tax side of our business, right? We try to get all of our tax clients on a monthly commitment because we want an ongoing annual relationship with them. We don't want to just do taxes at year end,
Mm-hmm.
right? We want to have a conversation at least once a quarter where we're checking in. How you doing? What are some things that we can do to affect your situation? So we put them into a subscription model basically. But what we do is at the front end, there's work that needs to be done that there's a lot of work when you first take on a client. You got to make sure that they're in a correct entity. You got to make sure that they're compliant with, you got to identify all the deadlines they have. You got to identify the opportunities that they're already missing. And depending on how close you are to tax time, you got a tax return to prepare. So what we do is we basically have an upfront onboarding fee that we charge. And that covers that upfront work and the tax prep of their tax return if we're more than halfway through the year towards tax time. So what you can do in the estate planning realm is you can say, hey, look, it's $4,500 to do an estate plan with a trust, but we also would prefer to have a lifetime relationship with you. We want you checking in with us every year to check, see if you have any life events that need to modify your plan. So what we prefer is to get into that kind of a relationship. So instead of 4,500 up front, we can do a $3,000 onboarding fee and X amount per month, $30 per month, $50 per month, whatever it is, where the first 12 months, they're saving money and it's a no-brainer for them to get into it, but the monthly amount they're paying is low enough that they won't want to cancel. Like,
Yeah.
even if they don't necessarily see the value right away, they don't want to cancel. And then Matthew's his idea of like, okay, we got to have touch points. We got to have ways of them feeling like they're getting value. You got to figure out how to bring them to the table, how to have that ongoing stuff where, hey, it's just a 15-minute check-in. Once every 6 months, once every 3 months, whatever it is, you're putting in a little bit of effort, but that effort is just kind of like shooting the breeze with them. Hey, what's up? Tell me, are your kids in college? What are they up to? And if you keep a good database, you can pick up right where you left off. You don't have to remember everybody. You can be that personable person, but at the same time, you're really doing a consult with them, right? Like, you're checking to see, has anything changed? Are you still in the same house? Did you move? Stuff like that. And basically just kind of really figure out if there's any opportunity for them to need an update. But then now they want to have that conversation with you. They want you checking in on their kids. They want you checking in on their grandkids and whatever. So it's not just the legal work that you're doing, but it's also just that personal relationship. So
And if they've
I think
already
it's
paid you, then they don't feel like they're on the clock because they've already paid you. And so the relationship can be built. That's so important what you just said.
Yeah, I love it. I love the model. I love the way that you can step into it, even if there's work to be done up front. And, you can still monetize that. You can give up some upfront profitability for long-term relationship and make it a no-brainer for them. And I presume that if the price is right, the churn will be pretty low.